Hey you guys, welcome back to Southern Latitudes. I'm Robin. This is my channel primarily, and I do a lot of gardening. I'm in East Central Florida, Zone 9B, and I see a lot of people asking about food forests because, supply chains are wonky right now. We're wondering where food is going to come from. You may have seen bare shelves. You may have seen reports about cargo ships out there in the ocean and waiting to unload. And then, you may still be dealing with Delta and COVID and things like that. And so it's on your mind to think about, what am I going to do with food? Well, I thought maybe it'd be really cool for me to show you my food forest, which is about 3 years old. We established it at the end of 2018. We put a fence, we cleared our property and we put a fence around it at Thanksgiving of 2018. And so we went ahead and began our journey. We first started, a lot of you are asking, how do we start a food forest? Well, okay, it's very simple, and you don't have to be a millionaire buying established fruit trees. My suggestion to you would be, perhaps if it's in the budget, we started with 5 cattle panels out here. My husband said, how many do you need? We went to Tractor Supply. We rented a trailer to haul whatever we needed back to start our food journey in the yard. And I said, oh, just a couple of cattle panels. And I was thinking more like, for climbing beans and peas and things like that nature. But he said, when we got to the cash register, he said 10. And I said, we'll never use 10, never. But as soon as we got here in this yard and we started assembling 5 panels, it made sense to me. I was like, duh, I wasn't even taking into account the permaculture aspect of it. I was thinking of annuals and garden stuff. So I'll just kind of go through the cattle panels overall. And this is the first one. This is just holding passion flower right now at the moment, but it's held before butterfly peas, which it makes a wonderful tea. And it also has underneath there, believe it or not, it has right here we have muscadine vines in here. Now it's getting snuffed out quite badly, and so we're going to address that as we clean up the food forest. I also have a couple pineapples at the front. Now, interestingly enough, this one bore fruit this year and this one did not. I don't know why. I don't understand rhyme or reason, but that's just the way it turned out for us. And as you see, it's putting on pups down there. Now, part of my food forest, part of my goal was to also have a medicinal area. So this section, well, the first year we put in red roselle, and we had dried a lot of it we dried the greens and powdered them, but we also made tea and we made jam. This year we're kind of expanding. I received a free little miracle fruit tree stick, and then we grew it up. It's only a couple of years old. We put it in there, and I think, I thought I saw a berry in there, but it does, it has been fruiting this fall. So we have this in here. I have beautyberry in here. Now I have a little crowding over on this end, so we're going to pull this one out this week, or yeah, today probably. I have ginger over here. No, actually, I'm sorry, that's turmeric. And then I have a different turmeric over here, and I have ginger back here, which we're hoping to expand, and I have more turmeric back there. Just, luck of the draw, I had more of that to put in the ground. I also have Turk's cap hibiscus, which, while this is sort of a dead corner, you may be suffering with, an area that just is poor sand, poor soil, full of sand. And this is a good kind of a plant. It looks beautiful. There's not too many blooms on it right now, but you can eat the blooms on that, and they're very sweet and high sugar content on the end here. Anyhow, and then I had been given this, a peanut butter tree, and it was in a pot for a while, and then we just moved it last year to here, and now it's really growing and starting to take off. In cattle panel 2, we put in over here, for the most part, the panel is filled with this vine, which is a red grape vine, and it's starting to lose its leaves for winter. But over this side, I have a very nice red raspberry in here, and we have more red raspberries coming along the way. Now this all needs to be tidied up. We have a lot of pine needles and oak leaves down. The squirrels sometimes will put the pine cone droppings, you know, there. I got a guava at a plant sale, very cheap. Popped it in the ground, boom. This thing grows incredibly fast. That's something very cheap that you can put in. Now I did spend a little bit of money on my carambola, but it was very small. Buy them small. Definitely buy your carambolas small, because they have such a fast growing habit that you will have fruit. This is only its first year. It's 1 year old, and I've gotten 3 carambolas off of it. 3-star fruits, for those of you who don't know what that is. But the grocery store calls them star fruit. And I have more growing with a fall flush. So that's what's going on in this corner. Now, this was one of the first trees we put in here, and this is a grapefruit tree. This is a ruby red, and it's a couple of years old. It's, as I can just see, it's dropped some fruit. I better pick that up. And it has some others, and they're, of course, I'm waiting for it to get cold. I don't want to pick it too soon. But that was maybe a $40 investment. Originally, it was my birthday gift 3 years ago, and we popped it in the ground, and it's just had time to expand while we've been here. It had fruit, a little bit of fruit the first year, nothing last year, and then we have fruit here in year 3. I have more natural beauty berry. I did not plant any of this. Some of this will stay. I'm going to allow that to keep growing. I had a tree originally down here struck by lightning before we cleared the lot. So I had a nice platform. I put a little tub on it, and I originally had, I don't know if it's still in there, but I had parsley. No, it's all gone now. But I have this wonderful pollinator plant. This is Mexican sage, and it stays here, and this is a perennial. This was only a few bucks, like one of the big box stores. And, you know, look, it's staying here and pollinating whatever fruit trees are in the area. Along the fence here, I received some free wire. Actually, it was at the curb from my neighbor, and I knocked on her door and I said, can I take this wire? And she said, by all means, it's going to the garbage. And I bought 3 green posts. Now I have a station for blackberries, and I have 3. This one's established. This one's brand new. You just saw it in a recent video I put it in. And this one is about 6 months old, if that. So we expect fruit on probably all 3 of them next year. This one did fruit this year. I'm pretty happy about that. Now in my 3rd cattle panel, I have a green Thompson grape type vine. It's doing very good. I've also had, we used to have Seminole pumpkins in the corner because they grow very well in crappy soil, and they would actually reach this trellis and come on over. I had this spring and summer, I had a really nice pumpkin that sat right here. So this is very good. I'm about to do a trim back on this. You'll see that in this video, later in this video. I have put in extra pineapples in here. We're going to clean this up. I have a lot of these, I don't even know what to call them, but they came with the lot. But then they also travel above ground and re-put new roots down. So I had to be very careful, and it's very invasive, and I haven't put it in check all year. So that's going to happen. I have longevity spinach. If you know anybody with longevity spinach, ask them for a clipping. It's so easy to propagate. pop it in water, pop it in dirt. You'll have a plant too. I have been picking on this plant all summer and fall long, and it has become a great source of It has become a fresh source of nutrition for my bunny. Here's elderberry. Now this elderberry was a gift from a friend, free to me, but you know, there's a lot of people out there that know how to propagate, and they can give you their cuttings either free or very cheap, maybe a styrofoam cup or something, although I'm not really into styrofoam, but sometimes people do plant in them and in the red solo cups. I'm sure this elderberry will be fruiting next year, and then I'll have another wonderful addition to my medicinal part of my food forest. Now we're at cattle panel number 4, and I have a couple things here. So I have another muscadine. Each one of these cattle panels has some form of a grape tree on it, or grapevine on it. I have had scarlet runner beans here in the past, and they look fantastic. And I love the little bit of red pop throughout the forest, and you can see. And I've also put in red roselle in this area before. It's just kind of a blank area, and I'm waiting to see. I may end up putting the starfruit here when I take it out of the pot. So that's really nice. Over here, I have my Caribbean red papaya. And I did struggle earlier this year with the wasp that seems to bore into the fruit, and then the fruit drops, and it's just mushy and not good for eating for people anymore. And I still suffer a little bit. I have some drop right there. But overall, you want to know what this whole, there's actually 3 plants here. You want to know how much that cost me? About $5. And look at all the food that it will produce for you in your food forest and in my food forest. So I really do love it. It really makes this whole area very tropical looking. It gives it that whole vibe and feel. This area was so incredibly blank when we started off. We put in the Mexican sunflower back there, which is just coming back after I just pruned it last week. I have more pineapples there. I have a plant that's coming out. Now this is just a floral plant, and it wants to vine out like 20 feet. It's just in the wrong place. And it blocks my Grumachami cherry, which is very important to me. This plant is at least 2 years old to me. And so I'm thinking we'll get fruit next year, but it is needing more light than what it's getting. So hence this is going to be removed. Now over here, I have what's called the smoothie garden. And in here, I like to put my berries or anything you want to put in a smoothie. So I have blueberries around the base. I have pineapples there in the middle. I have cranberry hibiscus over here. I used to have more of it last year, but the garden is ever evolving. I do seem to get a lot of drop from my pine tree right here. I seem to get a lot of drop right here in this area for some reason. I don't know why, but so I don't put too much right there in the center. And also when it's windy, I'm not out here in my food forest. Now here is cattle panel 1, and it struggled for a long time with putting the passion fruit on. This is a Maypop version right here, but it finally did take off when it sent a runner over to here. It went under the ground. See, it actually originates here, and it sent a runner over here, and it came up, and that all did fantastic. But now I'm thinking, uh-oh, I have another muscadine. This is jumbo muscadine over here. That was summit muscadine. And I'm thinking I don't want this covered like trellis number 1 on that side. I don't want this one to be the same. So I'm going to put this vine in check when I put that vine in check. And I want to emphasize the grapes here in this area. We want to fertilize them. Again, I have more of whatever this plant is that needs to be put in check. There's some beautyberry that needs to be put in check. There's oyster plant that needs to be put in check. And I did intentionally keep some beautyberry here in the middle just to fill in this gap. I used to have gorgeous nasturtiums for the first 2 years. I don't know where they are. Maybe I collected too much seed and I didn't leave enough to drop for this year. But we're just going to clean all this up. We're going to take the vine off the pine tree. And I think just in general, we need to clean this up. Oh, I've missed talking about the red roselle. That was in one of the last videos too, where I put the blueberries. I put some replacement blueberries in over there. And the squirrels got a lot of my red roselle. Well, they dropped a lot in the path. Now, let's see, I can show you just a little. See, that's beautyberry, but I have little bits of roselle out here on the path too. So just a good overall sweep. I will tell you that we have struggled with the decision whether or not to put anything in here. We've thought concrete, we've thought sand, we've thought blocks, we've thought like pavers. I really just do not know what I want in here. So for right now, this black ground cover is just kind of doing the trick until I come up with something. And we'll know when it feels right. I'll figure it out, and then we'll put something in here eventually. But for right now, this is really working out very well for part of my food forest path. Now, I walked a lot through here too, in this area, but I just keep that natural green grass. Oh, these canes that you see here, before I forget, this is from the Mexican sunflower when we took it all the way down a few months ago. And I had intended, well, it'd be nice if they broke down, but these big guys really are not breaking down very fast. And then I thought I might use them for beans to climb up. But now I'm just thinking I would like to get them out of the way. So that might just happen. There's some more beautyberry. There's a whole bunch of beautyberry. It's all over the place. And so our food forest continues beyond this corner of the lot, and it kind of stretches down the fence line. So I did not have anybody design this for me. It's just kind of what plants came and when. And one of the first plants that I got, and it was very cheap, was a couple of dwarf everbearing mulberries. And they came also as bare root sticks. I believe Baker Creek or something, they had some sort of sale to raise funds for missions or something. And so that was these guys, and they grew and they grew and they grew, and they've been trimmed like every few months, 4 to 6 months. I trim them back, they fruit again. You can see, look, there's fruit up there. They've been fruiting ever since the very first year. Do you see all that fruit? That's just the fall flush. We could hardly eat them all in the spring flush that we had. This plant's only like 2.5 years old. So that was wonderful. And then I have a little bit of lamb's ear in this spot. It was expanding, now it kind of looks like it's not. I have fig trees. I have fig trees in multiple spots of the yard. But we did put the jelly fig over here, and it did fruit in its first year to me. So it's probably about 1.5 years old altogether. And as you can see, I'm 5'1", and it's about as high as I am. Again, a very, very cheap investment, maybe $5, $7. I got a little tomato plant there for under $2. I got this Scarlet Beauty Plum, man, $30 maybe at the most, for a tree that was 4 feet high. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And I'm pretty certain it's going to have blooms on it this year. This coming spring, it should actually go and fruit for me and bear real fruit that we can eat. Now, will it be a lot? No, but maybe a dozen. You know, that's pretty good for a young tree. Somebody gave me sweet almond bush. This, again, this is not for food, but this is one of my pollinator plants I have stationed throughout the yard. And just like I had the Mexican sage down there, I have the sweet almond over here between all these fruit trees. This is a sun red nectarine, and this will fruit this year. Again, I bought it kind of small this March. Well, it looks tall now, but it was like way down here when I bought it. And I think I paid $20 for this tree, and it took about $20 to ship it. I won't lie, the shipping was expensive on this tree. This one right here was already at the local nursery, so I didn't pay for shipping on that, but it's included in the cost, so just know that's coming. But for $40, I got a tree that was a little bit more expensive. You can buy them way smaller. I had them for $10, $15. You still pay the expensive shipping fee, but I would have had to probably wait an extra year. So just know that if you have time, buy them cheaper and smaller. If you don't, if you can have the extra $20 to spare or whatever, buy one a little bit more established. That's up to you. That's sort of a personal preference. Now over here, I have a Persea americana, which is a winter Mexican avocado. This tree has been here since we started the lot. We dropped it in right away. It had been in a tub probably most of the first year of its life with me. I got this at the county extension agent's plant sale in April, and I want to say it cost about $40. I'm being real honest with you about the prices. I don't know what they cost in today's prices, especially with the frenzy of people buying up and being nervous about the economy and so forth. This was $40, and we have not seen a piece of fruit off of it, just keeping it real with you. But I'm thinking, we have seen it flower 2 years ago. It flowered a little bit, not very well this year. I did a summer solstice prune on it right as we went past the longest day and started heading into shorter days. And I have to say, it came back. It did a fantastic flush on it. Some of these leaves, original leaves, were not looking real good after, like holy bugs had gotten to them. Maybe they weren't the healthiest, but it came back very strong. And now, even in the fall, look at this flush. This is a fall flush that I was not expecting after the pruning flush. So I just couldn't be happier with this. I think we're going to see a great bloom this coming spring. It usually does sort of like an early March bloom. And now, compared to 3 years ago, we didn't really have a lot of bees that understood what I was building for them. Now we do. The bees are here. They have found every section. I just mowed this area last night, and it was filled with Biden's elba in here, and the bees were all over it. So I know the bees know we're here, and I couldn't ask for anything better. I'm thinking we're going to have great pollination in the spring for all of my food forest. Behind me, I have a little black sapote, and also a wonderful free gift. We might have, exchanged something, but a gift nonetheless. And big tree limb. It's sitting between these massive, this is a massive pine, and then this is sort of a scrawny pine, and it drops a lot, and it dropped and broke the top of my black sapote, but it's coming back. Hey, God's pruning, just, it's going to make it stronger. This is the acha acha. It didn't like where it was. It was all the way over there. I have some citrus over that way and figs, and it didn't like it. So we pulled it out and we put it over here, and I gave it a prune, and I'm just waiting to see signs of life from it, which I'm not really seeing, quite honestly. I guess I have a lot to learn about acha acha trees. If you know anything, drop a comment down below. Again, you can see way more pineapples here again. This is also the location where we do our drops for mulch and compost and stuff. It's really easy. We have double gates. That's something you want to keep in mind if you do food forest. You're going to want access. You're going to want to mulch stuff. You're going to want to whatever. You're going to need access. Maybe you need access for trucks to come in and prune. I still have these 80-foot pine trees here, and I still have a couple oaks down there in the front side, and they need pruning and constant maintenance. So we have an area where we can do that. And we have built our food forest around the edges of our yard for that exact purpose. Something that you may not hear much about for food forest is that you definitely need a shed. Well, or not, or a good garage, or a good cover, or lean-to, or something. But you're going to want something to keep all your tools. You're going to have debris. You might need garbage cans. You're going to have pots. You're going to need gloves. You're going to need, you know, whatever it is. Stakes. I have put stakes here because when I put in these little blueberries, there's 1, 2, 3. I wanted to make sure I didn't accidentally pull them out, you know. We just found a lot of these reclaimed stones and concrete around the yard. I put them here to edge just to give it a look. We've had some of these here for a while. They drive me nuts because they're not at all, like, they're all over the mess. Some up, some down, some, ugh. You know, if you have OCD, you'll have to learn to get over it with the food forest. Here is orange bulbine. Here's another one of my pollinator plants. The bees love it. They stay attracted to it. I put in a nice path in here so I could get in, pick my guava, pick pineapple, eventually my elderberry in the back. I had borage back there, and we'll get borage back in here again. I just bought fresh seed for that. I have a pineapple guava here, and that I expect to grow out quite a bit this way. It can grow that way, but I'm going to keep that side trimmed a little bit between the Mexican guava and the pineapple guava. And here I have an olive tree just because I don't know where it'll eventually make a permanent home. But that's how it goes with food forests. You live, you learn, you kind of get to know your ground, you get to know you get to know where your sun is coming from, how much shade, dapple light, you know, what can you grow? You're learning the plants along with when they're growing. That's how I do it. I do it on the fly. You get a plant. If somebody offers you a free plant, don't say, no, maybe later. Take it, take it, take it, take it. And then you'll say, okay, what are the needs for it? And you put it out here, and you know, it does what it does. Also on this side, I didn't mention this, but we have a banana pit here. We have a banana pit on the other side of our yard, but we have this gorgeous one here. We did make an investment, a good sized investment, on the 2 main Cavendishes. But we did receive this also as a gift, the small dwarf Cavendishes on the end. That was a free gift. And thank you so much. I don't know if they want to shout out it or not, but thank you, Steve and Marilee. And look, we already have fruit in our food forest here. This tree was only 4 feet tall about 5 months ago, and it's putting out fruit. And I'm thinking this one's got to be close. It's getting more and more lean to it with every passing day. I don't know. We just keep an eye on it, but it might be. And then I told Jack, what we may end up doing is we may end up putting some turmeric. We may put ginger. We may put, I want shampoo ginger. If anybody has some you want to give to me, this is where it's gonna go, because I think that's a good sort of a survival thing to have. You know, it makes soap. What else in your garden makes soap like that? You know, it's a pretty cool thing to have, you know, shampoo or for hands or whatever. I'm gonna learn it, and I'm gonna grow it, right? That's part of having the fun of having a food forest. So you guys, thank you for watching this video. I hope you've learned something from it. I hope you've enjoyed watching it. I hope you can see my process of maintaining it, and I hope it blesses you. Take care. God bless, and I'll see you again real soon. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can keep seeing this food forest grow. Bye.